Imagine the most advanced military intelligence program on the planet. Satellites worth billions, encrypted radio systems, human spies trained for years, and then a pigeon, a bird, costing almost nothing, that not only worked, but worked better than anything else the military had tried. This is not a joke. This is not a myth. This is one of the most bizarre, classified, and genuinely effective programs in the history of American intelligence. And for decades, nobody outside a handful of government offices knew it existed. So how did a small, unremarkable bird end up at the center of Cold War espionage? That answer will take us inside secret laboratories, military bunkers, the obsessed mind of one of history's greatest behavioral scientists, and a program so strange that when officials finally heard about it, they laughed. Until they saw the results. To understand what happened, you have to go back to 1943. The United States is deep inside World War II. The military is desperate. German ships are moving faster than American intelligence can track them. Bombs are missing targets. Guided missile technology barely exists. And then a psychologist named B.F. Skinner walks into a government office with an offer that sounds absolutely insane. He wants to put pigeons inside missiles. Not as passengers, as pilots. Skinner was already famous. He had spent years proving that behavior could be trained, shaped, and made almost perfectly reliable using something he called operant conditioning. Reward the right action. Ignore the wrong one. End of intrigues. The subject does exactly what you need, almost every time, without fail. He had done this with rats, with dogs, with dozens of animals in his Harvard laboratory. Now he believed he could do it with pigeons, and he believed those pigeons could guide a bomb directly into a moving enemy ship with an accuracy no machine at the time could match. The military called it Project Pigeon. Here is how it worked. Skinner trained pigeons to peck at a specific target projected onto a small circular screen. The pigeon would be placed inside the nose cone of a glide bomb. As the bomb fell toward its target, a lens in the nose would project a real-time image onto that screen. If the pigeon saw the target a ship, a building, a vehicle, it would peck at it. Those pecks were connected to control fins. The bomb would steer toward wherever the pigeon was pecking. It sounds absurd, but when tested, it worked. Skinner demonstrated to military officials that trained pigeons could hold a target lock under extraordinary stress, vibration, noise, pressure changes, with a consistency that early electronic guidance systems simply could not match. 3 pigeons placed together in the nose cone, voting on where to peck, created a redundancy system that was genuinely difficult to fool. And yet, the military shut it down. Not because it failed, because the committee reviewing it couldn't stop laughing long enough to take it seriously. The official conclusion stated that the proposal, however effective, was too far outside the norms of credible weapons development to receive continued funding. Skinner was furious. He believed they had walked away from something real, and history would eventually prove he was not entirely wrong. But the story doesn't end in 1944, because pigeons had already been doing something else for the military, something that, in many ways, was even more extraordinary. Since the late 1800s, a German pharmacist named Julius Neubronner had been experimenting with miniature cameras attached to homing pigeons. He designed a lightweight, automatic camera that could be strapped to a pigeon's chest. The bird would fly. The camera would take timed photographs. The pigeon would return home, and weighted aerial images of whatever lay beneath its flight path. Neubronner patented the design in 1907. By World War I, military forces across Europe were taking his idea seriously. Pigeons were being used for reconnaissance over enemy lines in ways that no manned aircraft could safely replicate. The birds were small, Invisible from a distance, they flew fast, at irregular altitudes, following instinctive routes no enemy could predict. And they returned home every time. Shoot down a reconnaissance plane, and you create an international incident. Shoot down a pigeon, and you've shot a bird. By the Cold War, the concept had evolved far beyond what Neubronner imagined. Miniaturized camera technology had advanced dramatically. The CIA, now operating in a world divided between American and Soviet spheres, found itself needing intelligence from locations where human spies couldn't go and aircraft couldn't fly without triggering a diplomatic catastrophe. Pigeon reconnaissance was revisited, quietly. Classified, trained homing pigeons, equipped with miniature cameras, were released near sensitive installations. They flew over, the cameras recorded, the pigeons came home. No pilot, no radar signature, no political fallout, just a bird doing what birds do, flying home. Documents declassified decades later confirmed the CIA conducted active pigeon reconnaissance operations. During this period, the program details remain partially redacted. What we know is that it worked. What we don't know is how often, how far, and exactly what those pigeons saw. There is something deeply unsettling about this, if you sit with it long enough. The most powerful military apparatus in human history. Nuclear weapons, jet aircraft, intercontinental missiles, and at a critical moment, the most reliable tool in the arsenal was a bird that had been doing the same job since the Roman Empire. Cher Ami, a pigeon in World War I, delivered a message through enemy fire that saved the lives of nearly 200 trapped American soldiers. Her leg had been shot off. She flew anyway. She completed the mission anyway. The military gave her the Croix de Guerre, the French Army's highest honor for valor in combat, to a pigeon. Because at the edge of human capability, where technology fails, where human spies are burned, where satellites don't yet exist, nature sometimes offers a solution that no engineer could design. B.F. Skinner spent the rest of his life arguing that the military had made a mistake, that Project Pigeon was not a curiosity, that the principles behind it, behavioral reliability, organic redundancy, adaptive targeting, would one day be recognized as ahead of their time. He was not wrong about the principles. Modern weapons guidance systems use logic that mirrors exactly what Skinner was describing. The difference is we replaced the pigeon with a microchip. But the microchip can be jammed. It can be hacked. It can fail in extreme conditions. The pigeon never asked for a software update. The next time you see a pigeon on a city street, ignored, underestimated, pecking at crumbs between someone's feet, remember this: at one point in history, the United States government looked at that bird and saw a spy, a guided weapon, a surveillance drone built by millions of years of available for the cost of a handful of grain. They weren't entirely wrong. And the files are still partially classified, which means we may not know the full story yet.